Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And it's cloudy and raining here in Massachusetts today. And in spite of that, it is World Naked Gardening Day. Not everyone can do that, and not everyone wants to do that. However, many of us spend time in our gardens with our pets. And at this time of year, there's lots of things to be done. Putting out the mulch and buying some annuals and sprucing up the mess from the winter. And even in a hot place like Florida, you might have to start irrigating more and really nourishing the plants that are in your yard to get them ready for the spring season and the summer. So one of the things that we need to think about with gardening is what's going on with our pets in the garden. First of all, it's a really bad idea to leave your pet unsupervised in the garden for any length of time. For instance, around here I have several things. Bees, I have white-faced wasps, which I can't get rid of, and they're all disoriented. They can never find their nests, and they get really mad. And then I also have a variety of snakes that I've pretty much eliminated from the yard, but that doesn't mean that one might not find his way in. So if my Corgi is out in the yard unsupervised and he gets bitten by something, I won't know if it's a bee, a wasp, or a snake. And that could make a very big difference in how I'm going to treat him and take care of him. If it is a snake bite, even if it's not poisonous, dogs and people can be very reactive. Snake bites are nothing to trifle with. And you need to be well aware of what kind of snakes you have around you. I had some friends that moved to Florida and had a huge reddish snake living under their dumpster. Now their dog is quite a lot bigger than my dog, but if you had a Chihuahua, you certainly wouldn't want that dog near a big snake like that. So make sure you're really aware of what's in your garden. In addition to which, there are lots of things in your garden that could be toxic to pets. One of the things, we don't have so much around here, but in other areas they have cocoa mulch, which is made out of cacao and, well, the pods. And that is super toxic to pets, all kinds, dogs and cats. And it's a really bad thing to have your pet exposed to that, even if you just have him trotting through it and licking his paws later. So you need to be really aware of what's in that mulch, and if it's been treated with chemicals and things that can be toxic to your pet as well. Lots of mulch in my area is just ground up pine trees. However, and most people that make mulch and are foresters are well aware of this, black walnut is super toxic to horses. So you don't want to put black walnut all around your house that's been ground up, or even have a tree in your yard for that matter, and get it on your feet and then go clean your horse's stall, because it is really, really toxic to horses. And most people, and it's toxic to people too, some people. So most people that make mulch in our area where there are a few black walnut trees are really careful not to take them and mix them with the other mulch. And in fact, they leave them on site usually when they have to chop one down or do some pruning on it. So be really aware of what's in your mulch. Most, mulch is often made out of pine because it's really cheap, and there's a lot of it manufactured in this country into usable lumber. So it's not usually a problem. But if you get, for instance, a mulch treated with a dye, that can be a real problem as well. One of the great things, if you're lucky, you can find cedar mulch, which repels fleas and ticks and all kinds of critters. And it actually is better for your pet. And it's a natural repellent for a lot of insects. So cedar mulch may be a little more expensive, but it's still well worth it for the money it will save you on sprays and the anxiety about wondering what kind of animals are living on your dog and cat. So some other things to keep in mind are toxic plants that might be in your yard. For instance, the sago palm is super toxic to dogs and cats. And it's fairly popular as an ornamental in the southern parts of the state. It looks sort of like a pineapple, but bigger. And even just gnawing on that a little bit can be really, really toxic. So look what you have in your yard. Look up what a sago palm looks like on Google and see if you have any in your yard. And you might think about a way to get rid of them or to fence them off so that your pets can't get near them. And certainly keeping them as houseplants is really ill-advised when you have pets. Lots of lilies, which will be blooming here in a couple of weeks. Lots of them are toxic to pets. Now, I haven't ever had a problem with any of my dogs or cats wanting to eat those things, but some dogs, especially puppies, are very chewy, and you want to make sure you keep them well away from really pretty much all of the varieties of lilies and some irises as well. And lots of the pretty plants are toxic, and that's partially why they're so pretty, to repel things away from them that might kill them, and also to attract butterflies and bees to pollinate them. So keep in mind, look at what kind of plants you're buying and where your pet might be, and really think twice about leaving your pet unsupervised in your yard for any length of time. Another problem around my area, and thank God I've got a 3-foot chain link fence. It might even be 4 feet. It's not super high. Certainly any animal that's wild around here could hop over it in a flash. But I have got, here in the Northeast, our coyotes are really big. Some of the naturalists in the area believe that they have bred with wolves in the past, and that's why they're so large. They are pretty shy. They are not nearly as forward as the ones in California that will literally follow you while you're walking your dog and wait for you to turn for a second and take them right off the leash. But around here, these guys are so big, we don't want to mess with them. So that's another reason to not leave your dog unsupervised in the yard. Hawks, eagles, we have both of them, bald eagles here, and they can certainly take a smallish dog or a cat. So again, don't leave your pet unsupervised in the yard, because most of those animals are afraid of us. In our area, the biggest problem we've had with pets is bears. And we've had, I know, a few dogs who have died from bear situations. A couple of larger dogs were kind of swatted by a bear so hard, bears are very strong, that they were injured mortally. And I know a fair number of dogs that have had that happen to them. Often at this time of year when the bears are hungry and grumpy, and a little bit later in the season when they might be breeding. So it's really important. One of them, the person was just getting out of their car at night, and they lived in a super wooded rural area in sort of a log cabin. And the dog trotted over to tinkle by the edge of the woods, surprised the bear, got swatted, and that was the end of the dog. So really be careful. You cannot overestimate some of the wildlife around you. And another dog was out on his line, and a bear attacked him, a very small dog, and the person did everything, sprayed him with a hose, beat him with a shovel, and could not save his dog. So depending on what the wildlife is in your area, even some large foxes can be threatening to small pets. So again, all the more reason to enjoy your garden with your dog, and don't send him out there for an hour without you. Make sure you're supervising him. And it can be just so quick. The other day I let Tristan out, and I've got a piece of a dead tree that fell over in my backyard, and I looked out, and I'm not even sure yet if it was an owl or a hawk, but it was definitely nearly as big as Tristan, watching him when he went out to do his tinkle. And when I stepped up to the window and saw him, he flew away. But again, you can't be overly cautious regarding your animals when they're out in the yard. So even though it's World Naked Gardening Day, you might want to garden with your clothes on or not, and certainly have your pets safe when you're in the garden, and make sure that you are with them when they're in the garden, and see what they're looking into. Tristan likes to walk around in the mint patch. Nothing in there is going to hurt him. I just let him do it. And I have lots of little walkways that he should walk down, and he mostly does. Occasionally he'll trot into the flower garden, which is surrounded by lavender. Another good thing you can do is put a lot of lavender in your yard. It repels a lot of insects. It smells wonderful. It smells good on your dog's coat, and it's not toxic. So lavender's a good thing to plant. So make sure you take good care of your pets when they're in the yard or in the garden, and of course avoid use of toxic chemicals and fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides in your yard. And keep an eye on your pets when they're out, because at this time of year, they're not the only things that are enjoying your yard. So thanks for joining us today for this episode of Conversations with a Corgi. We will be back. Let's see, we're at our job as an educator Monday and Tuesday. So we will be back with another episode on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day. I'm a little sunburned from being outside all day yesterday, doing some laundry, kind of cleaning up today, and getting ready for another week. And I'm hoping this week to be able to do the first radio show that will be aired on Dream Vision 7 as part of my sister's show. Hopefully I can pull that together. I have no idea with the tech situation. I'm just going to have to try it and see what happens. Try to fix it from there. And the people at the radio station are super supportive. So thanks for joining us today. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe in your garden with your pet. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday. Have a great day.